Here at the Washington State Penitentiary, we took on the challenge to develop an intervention here with the population in our intensive management unit, with the idea being that it would be an evidence-based program utilizing cognitive behavioral change processes.
You got to keep in mind about 94% of these people at one point in time in their life, 94% of these people are going to be released back out into the community, whether it's short-term or after many, many years. So this program is crucial, so when they do go back out, they didn't just sit here and hone their criminal behavior skills. The benefit, hopefully, we'll get a better person back in society. We're targeting the security threat groups, dealing with the aggression part of the offenders, because at WSP, that's primarily what we have. We have found that there's a lot of offenders that are in gangs at WSP that don't really want to be in gangs, but they don't really have a choice. You have to belong. They now can look at an alternative to getting out of here. The curriculum we're using is through the University of Cincinnati. We're targeting teaching them pro-social behavior, pro-social skills, and some ACT, which is anger control training. And this gives them the tools that they need to change their behavior and their thought process to make better choices. Change takes a long period of time, so if we can start here and make it change that thought process to get them to a general population, whether it's medium or close custody, but a facility suitable for their needs, where they can go into another program and continue to program from now all the way out to the street.
I'm excited about it because our facilitators are very energetic, very focused, very much buy into this process. The staff that decided to take on this challenge volunteered to do it. The offenders that are in the program volunteered to do it. Our instructors, most of them are correctional officers or support staff. And the neat thing about that is those are the individuals they interact with more than any other staff in a facility, period. And so when you want to change that bigger environment, those are the people that they learn new ways of interacting with, more pro-social positive ways of interacting with, because they're on the tiers with them all the time. We don't give enough credit to that relationship that's developed. You know, that more adult, pro-social, positive relationship and how to interact. And we're providing that here.
By taking core correctional practices, motivational interviewing, and now mock programming stuff, it's taught us how the ones that are involved and I guess passionate about it, we found another way to talk to the offenders and talk to each other, essentially. I have different keywords that I can listen to, and if they hit on a point, I can bring it back to them, essentially put the conversation back on them to help them solve their own problems, to help them think positive instead of going right to anger or negativity. So it's kind of a neat practice that we've learned in not just by doing corrections, we're doing rehabilitation essentially, and it's really cool to see. It's basic steps we go through, and it's a hands-on role-playing structured environment where these guys are given the chance to work with staff and work with each other, where a lot of times that's where their problems have come up in the past, where they don't know how to react to other offenders or to staff. They haven't had positive influences before, where now everything that's going on is positive and they're learning how to use these tools effectively to change their behaviors.
I teach the social skills, kind of the basics on if they're getting into a difficult conversation or trying to stay out of a fight, or please, thank yous kind of goes right back to the basics. We know it's so very simple, basic for you and I, but with these guys being locked up, they have a lot of aggression, always want to snap back at you, where you want to get them to get into that habit of thank you for my tray, or can I please have something. So we want to get them back to the fundamentals, so when they do get out into the outside the community, that they can be treated just like everybody else and not be isolated as being just released from prison or, you know, out of a correctional setting.
Phase one is the beginner phase. They come in, it's at the volunteer stage. We work through the first 10 weeks of some motivational enhancement skills. From there, they promote into phase two, and phase two is the learner phase. That's where they start learning how to use social skills and anger control, and it's all It's all role play. So we do a lot of action and modeling back and forth to really help them change that cognitive thought process to where they think before they react. When we get through that, then they're promoted into phase 3, which is a performer phase, which is more social skills, more anger control. Then at that time, they've pretty much completed the MOC program. We promote them into phase 4, which is advanced practices, and we have 50 social skills that we can use to target specific needs.
I've noticed the change, especially in the IMU, of just the overall culture and atmosphere is much more conducive. The phrase we're using now is a learning environment.
We moved all the active participants. They live together side by side down in JMOD. So it's a positive learning environment, which sets a better tone for the mod. It's a better living environment. It's more pro-social where they can use all the skills and everybody's helpful at the many different levels.
I've seen a huge change from the beginning till now. Huge change in all of them. There's a couple of them that, well, they've all denounced that they're not in the gang anymore. They don't want anything to do with the gang. So you can see the difference, and you can see that they're relaxing. You can see that there's a huge weight lifted off their shoulders. So when they come in, they're eager to learn the next step.
They have finally understand and agree that we do care what they're going through. We do care about what we're trying to teach and deliver. We believe in what we're doing, or we wouldn't be doing it. And that we're also volunteering just like they are. And it took a while, and they understand that now because they realized once, like with Mrs. Brannick or Sergeant Walker, when these folks are facilitating, or Officer Mullins, when they're done, he goes back to running chow and he goes back to his daily duties. She goes back to her clerical duties. Sergeant Walker goes back to running the unit. So, and they see that now, but at first they were kind of like, a little skeptical about it. But now that they see that we are people that have stepped outside of our normal duties to volunteer to facilitate these courses because we believe in it, and it's made a better tone in the unit. The unit, we have a lot less uses of force. Staff are more geared towards accepting the change. The inmates are slowly buying in more and more and more once they realize, hey, this isn't a RAP program. It's not a PC program. It's an actual volunteer program, and they don't care if we debrief. There's no trick bag. On the anecdotal side, we're seeing some progression.
Some guys are affected more than others. We've had one in particular that I know that when he first came into it, he was just in it to get away from, just to do something different. He didn't care. He just thought, you know what, I just need away from his peers on the tier. He wanted to just go do something different for the incentives that this program offers, and he didn't want to do the work. Now we're coming to the end of the course, and he has changed dramatically. He's does all the work. He participates every class. He's happy. He's positive. And then I have 3 others that are have been involved positively from the beginning. They wanted the change, even though they've been exiled from their gangs. And we see them using these tools day to day, whether it's in class or whether they're on their tier, in between class sessions. I mean, they actually practice this stuff together on the tiers, and it's pretty amazing to see rival gang members working together and actually talking, and we can listen to them, and they're actually bringing up stuff that happens in class. So it was pretty positive.
And changing the cultures of prisons with the clientele we work with is never going to be easy, or there's never a quick fix to it. It's a big job, and it takes, in my mind, extreme discipline and thoughtfulness, and I hope the department's committed, for that long haul, because that is what we all want to see happen.